Hi and welcome today. So I'm doing Commodore 64 stuff today, and with the Commodore 64 I'd like to do some BBSing, which is for bulletin board sites. BBS sites used to be around a lot more than they are now, but basically it was a way for people to connect to each other so that they could do emails and leave messages for each other, and not just as emails but as bulletin boards. To download files, pictures, games, and so forth and so forth, really, on all the different things that you could get. Now, with modems back in the day, they were very, very slow compared to what we get nowadays, and with our fiber access and things like that. So, really, it's you may find them rather slow if you're not used to having being going on BBS sites and then drawing a picture character by character or pixel by pixel. Now, the way that the Commodore 64 is it, I have a WiModem, that's WiModem. I've not been backed by the maker of this device or anyway. I purchased it myself. He's since brought out a version 2. Obviously, as always for me, it was just a couple of weeks after I purchased mine, but that's the way that things go. Now today I'd like to show you how to update the firmware on this device, and also connect to BBS sites. So the first thing we need to do is make sure that the Commodore 64 is in fact talking to this WiModem. Now this WiModem, though, a quick way of explaining it, what it does is connect to your Wi-Fi connection so that it can go onto the internet, but then it turns that information into the same way that a Commodore 64 would have been used to connecting to a modem, which is in serial data. So, to make sure it's working, we type ATZ. These are Hayes commands, and it says OK. Now I could type in a command to make it download the update right now, but I'd prefer it that we went a faster speed. So to do this we press F7, and as you can see the baud rate is set at 300, and the modem type is a user port 300 to 2400. Now we'd like to go a little bit faster than that, so to do this we press return to go back, and you type, make sure that you have these same settings when you're first starting up, because the WiModem by default always starts at 300 baud. It is possible to, whatever settings you've decided you would like for it, to save those settings to them, but from what I understand, every time you do a firmware update it always drops you back to 300 baud again, so you have to go through that routine again. So if you do these settings and you save your baud rate settings to the WiModem itself, be sure when you do a firmware update that you change your terminal software back to 300 baud so that you can communicate with it and put all the settings back again. It's quite easy to do. Firmwares have come out quite often. The gentleman that makes it is definitely trying to make sure that everyone gets the best out of the device that he's designed. The particular one that I have has a little LED screen on it. I like having that so that I can actually tell there's an update to be done without having to always check the website to see if there's a new firmware update. I'm told as soon as I turn it on that there's an update to be done, so I know to go through this. So the thing is that we'd like to go faster, so let's do AT star. Oops. Maybe if I press the right keys. This is from keyboard, a bit different from the BBC that was doing. AT star B 9600. Now that's the setting that I'd like the modem to be having. So I press return, it has taken that. That AT star B 9600 is a special command for this particular device. It's not part of the Hayes standard of commands. If you've got a firmware below I believe it's 1.97. It's just the update command is a little bit different than what it is from when you're going at after that particular firmware, but we'll get back to that. I'm getting ahead of myself here. First we need to press F7, and now we need to tell the terminal program that we in fact want to communicate at 9600 baud rate, and to do that though we need a particular modem type, so we need to change the modem type to UP9600, and we keep pressing B until we get 9600. Just to make life easier, we'll press S to save the config that we've just done, press return. This information goes back to your floppy disk, your SD to IEC, or whatever other floppy emulator that you might be using. Then we press return, and we just do ATZ again just to make sure that it is communicating. As you see, the A was a little bit strange there at first, so just do it again, and there we go, it's done. So now I know we're communicating at 9600 baud. If I turned off the Commodore 64 completely, not just reset, but completely turned off and back on again, currently the modem would be back to 300 baud, but the program, the terminal program, because we've saved it at 9600, it would get confused when we redid it, and we'd have to change it back to 300 baud again. But since I'm going to be updating the software, I'm not going to actually save the 9600 baud rate speed into the modem, because there's no point, because once I've updated, it will drop it back down to 300 again. So, but we've put it to 9600 just so it downloads the firmware quicker. So, AT star update. Now this is what I was mentioning before. If you've got a firmware between 1.97, I believe it is, you don't need the star. You just put AT update, no space, no nothing. In fact, just to show you, you would do it like that. But he's tried to, since when that makes it, he's tried to do it so that you have to do a star command to make it different from the standard haze commands. So we'll do star, AT star update. As you can see, it's updating the firmware. The little LED's changed on the device, and it says updating firmware on the little LED screen that I've got. It does take a little while, but it would take a lot longer if we just had 300 baud. At least, I believe it would feel a lot longer if we just had 300 baud. There we go, it's updating. And there we go. The device, it says now it's updated. But the problem is that the program has dropped back down to 300 baud because, sorry, the device has dropped back down to 300 baud, but the program is still at 9600, so we need to change that back again. 300 baud and modem type. There we go. Don't need to save it, we press return this time. ATZ, make sure it's working, and there we go, it is. So, let's make it go back to 9600 again. It seems all very convoluted, but it makes sense when you've done it a few times. The 9600. So it's set to 9600 now. Change the program back to 9600. Make sure it's saved into that. Because the one thing I'm going to do now is also, ATZ, there we go, it's definitely working. One thing I'm going to do is save it, that I have, every time I turn it on, I want it to be at 9600 baud, because then that speed is going to match what I have set in my terminal software. If for some reason there's an update again. It just means that I have to change the terminal program back down to 300 just so that it communicates, and then I can put in the AT star B 300 and AT star W to write it back. Sorry, AT star 9600 and then AT star W to save it, and then change the terminal back to 9600. I'm sure you get the idea by now, but I thought the command was AT star W, and it seems it's not. Just ATW? No, AT. I really thought the command was AT star W. One moment while I quickly look up the manual, because I swear blind it was. Just going on my PC to read the manual. One moment. Oh, where is it now? Oh, it's not AT star W, it's AT ampersand W. So AT ampersand W. Sorry about that. Now, every time I turn the Commodore 64 off and on again, that device will be set to 9600 baud. Unless there's a firmware update, then it will drop it back down to 300. And there we go. So there we go, we learnt something together. I remembered the command wrong. So, what we need to do now though is actually go onto a BBS site. Now I'm not going to show you my login details and things like that. But I'm just going to show you what some sites show you when you first start up. So, let's press F7. And this allows you to get to the auto dialer and phone book. So here we are in the phone book. So that we need to add a BBS site to actually connect to. So as my little avatar might dance around a little bit, what I want to do is add a new BBS site. So here we press E, and then we want to go to Scopes Portal. Portal, the name of it, and then the IP address is scope.us.to, and the port number is 23, and we'll skip over the ID and password for now. Just so I don't lose this though, let's press X to return and S to save, just so that I don't have to type all that in again. It's a bit of a messy way of doing things in the programming of this, but it is what it is. It's a free program, so let's go there. And then now that we've actually typed it all in, as you can see it's still there, we need to press C to call, and let's hope that they actually pick up the phone at their end, as it were. And the modem answers. And it connected first time. Tells us to press the delete key, so we do. And it's telling us it's possible to log in as a guest. Now, let's do it that way, because that way I don't have to worry about accidentally giving you my login details. So type in guest. Now, let's remember this is all happening real time. At 9600 baud rate, lightning fast. Key. Oh, and it's glitched a little bit, that's a shame. Just keep going through until you get to the main menu. And let's press question mark so we can go to the main menu. Oh, and the main menu's glitched, so try again. And there we go. Now with it glitching, it's kind of a shame it does that even with modern technology, but the thing is, it does sort of bring back the way that it used to be. Sometimes you would just glitch and you would have to keep refreshing the page until you got it properly. There's a lot of error checking going on in the background, but it's not 100% proof, obviously. Let's have a look at the messages. So press R. And there's one new message for the news. But let's have a look at the Commodore 64 one. So let's see. Whoa, there's lots of messages there to be reading. Let's just have a look at it and see what happens. Okay, not a lot. Let's try that again. No. I need to press up. Let's bring up the menu again. Read messages. Windows 64. Let's have a look at the first message. Types in 1 this time, see what happens. There we go. So there's a message from some guy calling himself David, back on the 27th of September 2016, at 27 minutes past 3 in the morning. Who knows if that was his time or it's the server time. Oh, there we go. So we get to read messages. This is what I mean, it's not always emails, it's just a message. Press return. And I get to see the next message. So there's obviously people having a bit of a chat all the way back in 2016. But we'll quit for now. I'll bring up the menu again. Hopefully this time it comes in properly. There we go. Let's have a look at the download folder. So we can $. And there's lots of files. I haven't actually tried downloading any files yet with the Commodore 64. I'm not too sure I want to. But we'll see. Go back to the menu again. Oh, try for the menu yet again because it flaked out again. There we go. Let's have a look at information. And there we are. This is what they're doing. They're using a emulator, or they're calling it a virtual Commodore 64. And they're using some BBS software and they're running it on a... why they've got Windows XP and Windows 8, I don't know, but they do. But it's located in Shanghai, China. There we go. Here I am, sat in the UK, using my Commodore 64, connected to a WiModem, which is translating information from the internet into a modem. But of course, it's connecting up to the internet, it's going off through to the internet, bouncing around whatever different technology, all just so that I can talk to a computer in Shanghai in China. Technology is so amazing. And here I am using a Commodore 64 instead of using a latest and greatest computer. I know, sometimes there's a lot of fun looking at the old days. Anyway, we'll leave it there today. So if you like this, please press like. If you really liked it, please click subscribe. And if you really liked it, please tell your friends and family so that they can find out more about different retro computers and so on as I make more videos. Thanks for watching. Bye.